Hi, Ben.
Hello. I like that little bass line there.
Hello, Ben. Hello. How are you?
Good. I was just grooving to the little funky bass line you've got there.
Wow, thank you. Thank you. I'm so honored to have you join me tonight. I know it's going to be a great conversation. So, for those of you who are joining us live, you're in for a treat tonight. You know what to do. Show Ben some love. Let him know who you are, where you're watching us from. If you're watching the replay, just do pound replay after this ends. So, let's just jump in. I'm Lena Lassiter. I have my master's in human services counseling with a cognitive crisis and trauma. I'm an advanced grief recovery method specialist, a director in corporate America, and author and founder of Forever Heal. Founder and president of Forever Heal. Speak, Lena. We are a nonprofit, and what we do is that we help those who are suffering from a broken heart due to a loss of any kind. We want to help them then to restore, reclaim, and we want to help them to recover. We offer one-on-one and group grief recovery classes. We present the grief and empathy training in corporate America. And we also go around to churches and talk about, grief in the churches. And we are proud partners of the Richmond Police Department Homicide Support Group and the Richmond City Sheriff's Office. So again, tonight we are joined by Benjamin DeBoard. He is an ICF certified coach. So thank you, Ben, again, for joining us tonight. We have some comments already. Let's see. Some are coming in. We have a little lag, y'all. So here we go. Hi, Wendy Lee. Thank you for joining us. Hi, Tanya. Thank you so much for joining us. Hi, Tanya. Thank you for joining us and supporting us. I appreciate you. Hi, Rosalind. Thank you. Wendy says she's from Wakanda. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Really appreciate you being here. Tonight we have a special guest, again, Benjamin DeBoard. So Benjamin actually walked 3,000 miles across the U.S. to find that it is most often our own thinking and beliefs that hold us back. So Benjamin, let's jump right in. So how did you get this epiphany? What were you doing walking 3,000 miles across the U.S.? Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Wow. It sounds wild, doesn't it, when you put it that way? And I've always been called to the adventure, right? And had an opportunity in 2013 to hike the Pacific Crest Trail with a friend, and had really come to this realization myself that it's not so much what your circumstances are or what happens to you, but how you react to that, how you handle that, what your mindset is, what you believe about it. And I thought to myself, let's test this out then. Right. And so a good friend of mine, Jeremy, and I hiked the Pacific Crest Trail. And of course, we walked across the Mojave Desert. We walked over 3,000 miles through California, Oregon, and Washington, carrying only what we could have on our backs. Encountered a lot of difficulty, and it was just a really amazing experience to test that theory out. And I found it to be true, that really it's our mindset, and we always have control over that, as long as we can get those tools and the education around how to do it.
That's good, Ben, because you're right. Like every action, right? I mean, everything that we do, it's that seed, right? This planet, it starts in our mind, right? And sometimes we have to have a mindset shift. And like you had that epiphany, and it sounds like you are helping others
Yeah.
who, I don't know, just maybe feeling stuck. Do you get that a lot, like from clients who feel like they're just kind of stuck, right,
Yeah.
in their thinking and getting in their own way?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of, you know, a lot of times we go through difficult things, as human beings. That's part of the journey, right? And um, there are ways sometimes we can get into what I call the victim mentality, where we let those things define us and trap us and keep us small. And and then there are ways to think about those things and frame it in ways that make us feel better and liberated and able to move on. And that's kind of the sandbox that I play in. And it's really amazing to meet you and be here today and get exposed to Forever Healed, because you know I work in two spaces. One, in the leadership space, where I help leaders create vibrant and engaged teams, and all the soft skills around leadership development. But I also have a grief story of my own. Have volunteered with Comfort Zone Camp. Shout out last week's, or
Yes,
maybe
yeah,
2 weeks ago, guest.
so yes.
Yeah, Andrew Dooley, and can't say enough good things about Comfort Zone. And so I also work with clients kind of around their mindset and the stories that they're telling themselves and the beliefs that they have, because those beliefs shape your reality. Because, really, we can all just take a moment, and if we just notice, we're all okay. Are you okay right now? Right? We're on a webinar, and you're breathing, you're conscious. Everything else is a story, and it's not to minimize anyone's experience. But often those thoughts and narratives can take us away from that peace that's just we always have within us.
Yeah. You said something earlier that just kind of reminded me that I share with clients or just share when I'm out here live, right? And the way that I frame it, Ben, is I say that sometimes we're married to our pain, right? So sometimes we continue to carry that pain or that hurt or that loss right with us into new relationships, new territory. We don't realize how it kind of bogs us down, right? Just carrying those things that had, into like new relationships, right? Walking forward, it's harder to walk forward when you're
Oh,
you're married to that pain. Yeah, with me, because I say that quite often that we can't be married to our pain. At some point, we have to want to free, right, from those things that are causing us, not to be able to freely evolve and
mm-hmm.
heal, right, and just and walk in that freedom and in our authentic selves, So we can't be married to that pain. Someone asked the question: did you sleep in tents, or did you get a hotel room when you were?
Yeah, great question. So we brought a tent, and actually we sent them home because it rained only 4 times on us from the time we left the Mexican border about halfway through California, and every ounce in your pack counts. So we sent them home and just cowboy camped on the ground. And occasionally, when we go into towns to resupply, we would stuff our faces at a restaurant, and then, yes, sleep in a motel and take the world's best shower. So if you want a really good shower, go walk in the woods for a week and then go take a shower.
Oh my gosh. I reviewed your website, and I love, 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 like the first page. Turn down stress, turn up confidence, and drive results.
Yeah.
Yeah. It also talked about, Ben, that you use a holistic approach right? Driven by empathy and involvement. And you use this empathy, right, to understand and connect with your clients. And you help to foster them, empowering them, I should say, right, to kind of take control of their own like destiny, if you will. So talk to us about this turn down stress, turn up confidence, drive results, right? What does the coaching session look like with you?
Yeah. Well, I'll start with one caveat. It's something to be experienced over, I mean, we can talk about it. I'm happy to talk about it, but it's definitely something to be experienced. And, you know, the other thing I'll say is I don't tell people what to do, right? No one likes to be told what to do. And I very much believe that the answers are within the other person on the call. And those are the solutions, epiphanies, aha moments that really stick. Not when someone just tells you, hey, you should do this. It's like, oh, okay. But when it comes from within, and that's part of my skill set, is to not only to listen really well, really pride myself on my listening skills, and then to listen for those underlying beliefs and to challenge them and question my clients so that they can see other perspectives and see where some of their thoughts and stories might be getting in their own way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. And I think sometimes that you have to have just that pushback, you know, just sometimes just talking it out loud then, right? And kind of hearing yourself and your perception and to have somebody kind of push back with resistance to kind of pull it out of us. Because to your point, it's already within, but sometimes you just need that expert, that coach to help just pull it out. So go ahead.
I love that you shared pull it out, because so often the narrative playing in our head or the thoughts we have just swim around in here. And it's really hard to look at them and be objective and work with them because they'll change, or, you know, and so one of the things I work with my clients is, one, for them to be able to share with me, but also to get them to write it down so we can look exactly what those thoughts are. And then, you know, a story comes from here and starts to come out to here, and you can see other perspectives and you can rewrite it and get a little separation from it. Because at the end of the day, anything that is made out of words is a story.
I love that, because sometimes when we're going through, I just love how you just did that, right? Sometimes all you see, all we focus on is what's happening, right? What's happening right now. And you can't see the bigger picture sometimes, right? Sometimes like what we're focused on. And sometimes what we're focused on, because we're focused on it, we magnify it. And it's almost like we can't see beyond it. So you're absolutely right. Sometimes you need to just to tell that story, right, in a way, again, to just be able to articulate it. Because when people ask me even about journaling, and they say, well, how do I start? I don't even know what to say, right? And I always say, well, just start with one word. Like, how do you feel? But sometimes, Ben, people have a hard time even articulating like how they feel, like just putting it into words. So I love that analogy that you did with your hand.
Yeah. And another part of it I'll share too, Lena, not only the externalization of it, but, you know, we're talking about, you know, I know a lot of folks are here because they've gone through grief, and we have those stories and experiences where we get locked up and we don't want to look at them. And what happens is our nervous system goes into that sympathetic nervous response where we're tight, shallow breath, and our physiological response is one on survival. And when we go into survival mode, your perspective goes just to that, just to survival. So you're not seeing other perspectives, you're not putting yourself in the shoes of others, and it's just there and locked up tight. And so part of the work that I do is to just exactly this metaphor, get it out, and then not only to externalize it, but get into the body and use the breath as a way to what I call down regulate into our calm parasympathetic nervous response. And it's amazing how that story looks different from a different physiological state.
Yeah, that's good. Patricia said, yes, we have the story in our heads, but we need someone else to bring it to life. Yep, sometimes we absolutely do.
Yeah. And I would love to give an example, or I'll ask you, Lena, have you ever had that experience where you buy a new car and then you start seeing that car everywhere on the road?
I know I have. Have you guys have? If you have, put yes in the chat. I know yes, Ben, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. What such an interesting phenomenon there. And I'll talk about that for just a moment because it really illustrates a great point. So you get a new car, it's part of your story, and then you start seeing it everywhere. And that's part of the brain's selective attention. And sorry, there's a little bit of echo there. It was like,
it's okay.
And what happens is, you know, we're all able to be conscious of so much at one time, and with all the sounds, sights, tastes, feelings, and our brain's got to narrow the focus. And so it does that based on the thoughts that we believe. And so in that example, you know, a car becomes so let me just make sure that's not me. The car becomes part of your story, and you start to see it everywhere. And the funny thing is, your selective attention also edits out what doesn't fit that story. So, Lena, I'm not sure what car it was for you, but I can guarantee you there are more Toyota Camrys on the road than whatever that car was for you. And so the story in our head shapes what we're even literally conscious of.
Wow.
And so if you wake up in the morning and you say, oh, nothing ever works out for me, your conscious attention is going to go out and look for evidence to confirm that and edit out anything that doesn't fit that. And then you're going to believe that belief more, and it just becomes a vicious cycle.
That's good. Okay, so it sounds like, all right, Wendy, I'm going to try to mute when Ben is speaking to see if that helps a little bit. I don't know why they're hearing an echo with you. I'm sorry, Ben.
That's okay.
So what I'm going to try to do, Ben, is when you're speaking out, I'll mute to see if that helps. But that's good, right? So again, our mindset, what we say, what we're believing. If we say we're going to have a bad day, then we start looking for things to kind of validate, right, that particular thought. So back to that, like tunnel vision, focused on, you know, that thought in our mind, magnifying it, right? And you're absolutely right. Then it's just that cycle, that mindset, right, of that particular mindset, and we have to be able to shift from that, right? So this coaching sessions will help your clients to tell their stories. You help them to kind of pull it out, right? And not just be focused on that, whatever they're telling themselves, right? In your sessions. So Ben, is there an associated cost with your coaching session?
Yes. And, you know, I mentioned earlier, it's something to be experienced. And so what I offer anyone who thinks they might like to try it out, I give people a free first session so they can experience it for themselves and make that determination. And then after that, you know, it's based on, I don't have, you know, an off the shelf thing. I really do a custom tailor program for each person. And so we'll work together to really clarify and identify what it is they're looking to get out of those sessions, and what type of tools, what duration of engagement, would get them there. And so, if anyone's interested, you can hop on my website, or chat with me on LinkedIn, and I'd be happy to, facilitate a free session so you all can see what that's like and make the best decision for yourself.
So Wendy said tailored programs are great because we are all unique and individual. That's one thing that we definitely preach, Ben, during our sessions, right? So we always tell our clients that they're unique and individual. So that means that their relationships are also unique and individual. The way that we grieve, the way that we heal is going to be unique and individual, right? So I love to have the tailored programs. Also, one thing, with us too, Ben, is that you are really going to get out of it what you put into it. Mm-hmm. So is your program similar to that? Like it's what the client actually bring to the table as well?
Yeah. And to be honest with you, part of that facilitating that first session is so I'm looking for people who are I'm looking for an emphatic yes, that they want to get to the other side of the storm, or whatever it is, what I call your high dream. Because this is very much a client driven process. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't get on and tell people what to do. I facilitate experiences and shape a space where people can experience new perspectives, experience insight, and write a different story and see how that feels, and see what happens from there.
Thank you. I love that. Let's rewrite the script. Let's rewrite the script that's playing in your head. You also facilitate leadership training as well. You are a busy man, Ben. So we present the hidden cost of grief in corporate America, right? And some of the grief that workers can experience is a direct correlation between like an associate and a leader, or the stress, of the job. So what does your leadership training incorporate? And what can potential clients expect to gain from that leadership training program?
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Lena. And really, I've worked with a lot of new and established leaders, and what I see very often, first of all, a lot of leaders are out there just winging it because they've never had support, right? And that's not a judgment on them. Good on them for doing the best they can with what they've got. But I'm a firm believer, just like anything else, get some support and you're going to be more effective with it. Specific to the framework that I've developed and work with my clients on is, I see a lot of leaders in workplaces today where they try to manage poor performance or drive change, or deliver critical feedback without having met people's personal needs and establishing that nice psychological safety. And so if you just take, for example, anybody out there wake up in the morning craving to hear some critical feedback from someone else? No, right? And then beyond that, usually when that's delivered, it's with the hope that a behavior is going to change. Well, behavior change is tough. And Patricia asked for me to say that again. So when we deliver critical feedback, normally it's because we want someone to do something differently, right? And critical feedback can be tough to hear. If any of you out there have ever delivered critical feedback, you know that it's a minefield, right? Defense walls can go up quick, people can get triggered, and then beyond delivering critical feedback to get behavior change, right? I want a six-pack, but spoiler alert, I do not have one. and I know exactly what I need to do to get it. Right? But behavior change is tough. And so imagine trying to facilitate that on a team where someone doesn't feel valued or respected, or that they can come to work as their true authentic self, or that they're trusted to do the job that they're hired for. And so what I really work with on leaders is, what are those essential personal needs? How do we meet them? And then you can go on to those next level leadership um, processes. And that's essentially my framework for working with leaders.
I like that. Psychological safety. Yeah. And associates, they do need to feel heard. They need to feel valued. They need to feel respected. They need to feel like they can, bring their true authentic selves, to work. So thank you for bringing that up. So Wendy said, "Oh my gosh, so true. We must do the work in order to get the desired results." She said that she's guilty. She was often expecting others to change her. Wendy, you're probably not the only one who has, felt that way in the past. Maybe you're feeling that way right now. And I think for us as humans too, Ben, right? Sometimes we feel like it's our responsibility to even change others. So I think that's where some of that is birthed from, Wendy, right? Just feeling and believing that we can change others or others can change us. But it really starts within, with us really looking at ourselves, self-reflection, really taking inventory of who we are. Because I've shared this before, Ben, like in the past with my pain, I felt like people actually owed me something because of what I had gone through in my life. Right? It was everybody's fault that I was so angry. It was everybody's fault, that I went through this and that I'm feeling the way that I feel. And I carried that around for a long time. And it's like, no, nobody owes you anything, but you owe it to yourself to be mentally stable. You owe it to yourself to be mentally well. Because when we're not in a state of true self-reflection and we are blaming others for what happened to us, or thinking that they can change us, or thinking that they owe us something because of what we have gone through, that's a very dangerous and toxic place to be in, because you can spew that onto others. And Wendy, I had to realize that I was really damaging some people along the way, in that state. So yes, I had to be true to myself, and do the work, accept the work that was presented to me, right? And do the work to change. She said, rewrite the script. I love it. It says that I'm in charge of my change. Well, there you go. I just did my whole soapbox on that. Absolutely right. Ben already said that again. I think they're loving what you said, what you were saying, Ben. And then Wendy says she wake up craving pancakes. She said. And then you have a thanks, Ben. Thanks, Patricia.
Yeah, Lena, I love what you just shared. Thanks for bringing in your personal story there. And, one of the things that stuck out when you shared that is that thought that somebody else should do something. And when we have that thought, we locate our own well-being in the actions of others. And good luck being happy. But if you place your happiness or well-being or contentment or meaning or value of yourself in someone else, it's out of your control, and it can be within, right? And so that's one of the ways that getting out of this victim mentality can create what I call the architect mentality. Or it's like being in the driver's seat of your own life, and it's empowering.
Architect mentality. Did y'all hear that? That was good. Tanya said, how do you incorporate your holistic methods in your session?
Yeah, great question. So you know, one of the things I love is I have a deep coaching toolbox. And because, the coaches are people that will tell you what to do, they're the have all the answers people, and that's not my style. And so I get to show up and just be completely present and pull the tool out that I think will best fit the situation. And um, one of the interesting things is I do a lot of work with identity and mindset, and that shows up whether you're at work or at home or on vacation. And so, I have a lot of clients where they'll come to me in a professional space, and we'll end up working through childhood trauma that's
Mm,
shaping. I worked with a woman last week. She's a really high performer salesperson, and she's a people pleaser, and she worries about her clients' problems more than they do. And we trace that back to an event in her childhood where she was playing Barbies in the attic in first grade. Her best friend wanted the Barbie she was playing with. She said no. Her friend got up and left and disinvited her to her birthday party, which, you know, when you're 1 years old and you're isolated from others, I mean, what's the worst thing they can do in prison is put you in isolation, right? So she learned right there, I have to please others or I will be alone. And, by the end of her session, where she came in looking to make more sales and get out of this people pleasing mode, she's got the tears coming, and we're talking about Barbies and first grade birthday parties. And so that's part of the holistic um, aspect, Tanya, is that I work with the whole identity. Even though I might come in the door through a leadership space, or I might come in the door through a grief space, um, you are a whole complete person, and that identity is showing up wherever you go. And the second part I'll say to that is also, I bring in the breath and I bring in the body, right? So that would be the other piece of a holistic approach. And so, I mentioned facilitating experiences for clients, and they'll come in and we'll do a couple things, and we'll check in with how they feel in their body and really get into their bodies. And we'll manipulate breath, we'll manipulate the rate of speech that they read things they write down, and give them an experience and let them draw their own insight from the differences they see during that.
that's good. Work with the whole identity. Ah, I love that holistic view um, and healing process. So again, just making it personal to that particular client. So that's good. Thank you, Patricia. Yes, we can't change people, and it does take the weight off when we realize that, right? Wendy said it was likewise with God. I was expecting God to do everything, not realizing that I had to do something. I have to participate in my miracle. Ben spoke about altering habits that is often necessary with spiritual deliverance. Yeah, that's true. That's good, Wendy. Recovering people pleaser here. All right, it's okay. I love it. Ben works with the whole, yes, I love that. The whole identity. That's awesome. I've never heard it put that way before. Yeah, very good. This is so good. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you so much, Ben. There you go. Yeah. So working with the whole identity. And again, just making it personal to me, right? Not just this cookie cutter process that we feel like it's a one size fits all, but getting to know me and making me be in touch with my whole being. In these sessions, I think it's critically important and well said, Ben. So
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to share, with that one line I tell a lot of people is with that, your mindset, the story you're telling yourself, there's a game to be played. And until you realize that, it's playing you. And it's not a judgment. because it's an educational issue. Like, I don't know, I've never met anyone who's had a class about this type of stuff in high school, right? Hopefully one day we'll have them. I just happen to be someone who stumbled upon this path and learned these tools and this work, and that's why I love sharing it with others, and um, getting to meet awesome people like you, Lena, and communities like this. And really, once it's all about empowering people so they understand how their mindset, how their story is shaping their experience, so then they can go off and do it on their own. So, my goal is to be unnecessary. That's really my goal, and it's likely going to be a lot of work. And yeah, it's just really fun. Sometimes people ask me what the heck I do as a coach, and I tell them I get paid to play with people's thinking.
I love it. How does your story shape your experience? How does your story shape your experience? There's a game to be played until you realize it's playing you. My goodness, Ben. That's good. So we have a question about your website. I'm going to post it up here again, guys. We've gotten a lot of this. Is awesome. Looks like somebody said you are just, oh, Ben, it's, yes. Ben, you are dropping the mic here tonight. Ben, so do you have any sessions coming up? Because when we started to do our lives, it was around the time, gosh, 3 years ago, COVID-19, right? And we weren't able to have face-to-face sessions, like group sessions with our clients. So it was important to me to have a platform to come out and to just share resources, to share wisdom, to share knowledge, because I do feel like we perish, right, from lack of knowledge. So those who were willing to come on with us and just to talk and to just sharpen others, right, to inspire others, to encourage others, we just created these live sessions, and it just kind of morphed into us continuing on. Although we are back to face-to-face sessions, I don't know how long we're going to be doing this, but I really appreciate you coming on and just talking through your coaching sessions, talking through your leadership training. It's just phenomenal. I'm always talking about our mindset and how it starts with the thought, right? And where are we going to allow that thought to take us? So what you are doing is a beautiful thing. I know that you want to, kind of work yourself out of a role here. Ben, it's needed. And you're going to be doing this for a very long time. But if someone was interested in sitting in, seeing what you offer, you mentioned having like a free consultation, but do you have any other courses or training classes coming up that you want to share some dates and times with those who are watching tonight or watching the replay?
Yeah. Thanks for that invitation, Lena. I have a workshop, a free virtual workshop coming up on Wednesday, September 13th. I believe it's at noon, and the link is on my website and also on my LinkedIn profile. If you're I'm a bit of a oddball. I'm only on LinkedIn. Everyone's like, what's your IG? What's your IG? And I'm like, I don't have one. But that's called, that workshop's called Stress Experience Your Parasympathetic Power. Wow. And I'm going to be sharing in a group setting a lot of these tools, or a few of these tools that I talked a little bit about today. And that'd be a great place to come in and play. Come in and play with me, see what's going on, experience a little bit for yourself. And also, if you just want to come in and see what happens and others interact. It's highly engaging, but don't feel like you have to engage with that. That's one of the things I learned at Comfort Zone Camp from volunteering there so many weekends. It's, even some of the kids that don't share, don't say much, they're watching, they're taking it in. That seed may bloom when I'm not around to see it. So that's one way. Please come join me. We'll have so much fun. Lena, come on. And also, like I said, if you're interested in what a one-to-one coaching experience is like, come contact me. I will block out an hour and facilitate a powerful 1 hour session for you. And you can make your own judgment from there as to whether that would be valuable to do more of.
All right. So Ben, one more time, the dates are September
13th at I believe it's noon to 1:30 p.m.
Okay, noon to 1:30 p.m. You guys
invite your friends. Bring some lunch. Bring whatever you want. I'm ready for it.
He's ready for you guys. Benjamin, Ben, thank you so much for coming on with me tonight. Just sharing some very important critical nuggets that we all need. So for those of you who would like to contact Ben, here's his information on the screen. Benjamin DeBoard, DEBORD.com. Look him up, guys. I was all over his website checking him out. He's a real deal. Does a lot in the community. You just heard him say he, volunteers at the Comfort Zone camp. He did that in the past as well. Very passionate about what he does. I really enjoyed our first conversation, so I had to have him come out with me tonight to share with all of you. I hope that you found this to be beneficial. If so, please share it, like it, get the word out. We just want to encourage and inspire you guys. So thank you for joining us tonight. Ben, I'm going to give you the last word like I do with everyone else. Any last inspiring words or encouraging words for our audience tonight?
Wow. I would say to if you don't love your life right now, write a better story.
Duly noted. Duly noted. It's time to rewrite some stories, guys. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Have peaceful rest. And again, BenjaminDeBoard.com, y'all. Ben,
thank you, Lena.
Have a great evening, everyone. Okay. Good night.